And I believe Steve Choi set it up on our website so that you can order supplies. So if you go to, I'm not sure where it is, I'll have to find out. I'm assuming it's under the officials tab. If you actually click on officials, not the drop down, it gets you to more information. So if you click on that, I think it tells you that you can order. And the only option right now is to pay through Venmo, and it's my Venmo account. So what happens is you guys order and then pay through Venmo, and I place a bulk order so we get free shipping. And I don't know, I can keep that order open. Well, we have to have a minimum amount to get the free shipping. So I'll keep that window open for a while because then we'll offer it to our general membership as well. If you go onto the order form and you don't see something that you want, you can go to roofsportswear.com and search for what you want. And if you find something on there that you would like me to order for you, just send me the order number and size and whatever details are needed for me to place the order, and we can do that. Once the order comes in, then we'll figure out how everybody's going to get it. Typically, we distribute at one of our meetings, so we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, I think that's all I have for right now. Mark, anything else from you?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right.
Hang on really quick, Robin, just really quick with those sweatshirts. They're very comfortable. They're very fun to wear. But just remember, you also have to wear your uniform underneath it. So your white polo. But on cold nights, and there are some gyms that do get cold. So they really are nice to have, just so you know.
Well, let's admit it. We've never had too many people officiating in the months of January, February, and March.
That's true. So it may get cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Robin.
That was it. I was going to turn over to you. Is it your turn?
Well, are we going to do the video?
Yeah.
I can't share, so let's just go. We're going to go into single man mechanics. There is a video. Please forgive some of the people in it, but we're going to go over some of the things that if you do go to a middle school, in the beginning, you'll probably have a trainer with you, but if you happen to go to a school by yourself, or you go to a high school and you do a JV match by yourself, there are things that you do need to know that you will need to handle by yourself because you won't have that partner there with you. So this video will cover those things. It will also cover a captain's meeting or partner meeting, line judge meeting, those kind of things. And so we're just going to go ahead and watch. So if you have questions at the end, we will take those at the end. All right, Robin.
Okay. Can everybody see that? Do you see a black screen? Okay. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Officiating at the junior high level requires extra tolerance, flexibility, and common sense. While it's imperative that you understand all aspects of the game, a sense of humor is also an essential tool. Okay, so I'm up. You're the R2? Yes. Net and center line are all yours. I'm not going to call net, not going to call the center line unless it gets on my radar, and it's only going to get on my radar if you're not calling it, but I'm not looking for it. The antenna on your side is yours as well. Let's see, I will wait for you every time to give me the court back. If you have play changing information at the end of a rally, just come over and tell me. You don't have to wait for me to call you over, just come over. By the same token, if I call a line judge over, I'd like you to come over because whatever we decide, you're gonna have to relay that to the coach. So if you would just come over, I'd appreciate it. In terms of back row stuff, back row tack, back row setter, libero, honor in front of the 10-foot line using your hands, If you would watch Libro's hands, watch her feet, sorry, I'm gonna watch her hands. If you see her on or in front of the 10-foot line, she's gonna use her hands. What are you gonna show me?
What would be easier for you? I can point to the line or I could do this. What would you prefer?
Well, what do you think comes naturally to you?
Probably going to the line.
Probably pointing to the line. That's fine. I don't want you to change what you're doing. I just want to know what to expect. So if I see that, then I'm going to know what it's for. So what about like a back row setter or something that you think contacts the ball above the height of the net and the ball is
Then
traveling
I would
for it?
do this.
You're going to give me that?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be great. With 4 hits, do you give them when they happen or are you going to give them preemptively?
Usually I will preempt because if I see that there was no touch on the block, then I can at least let you know I didn't have a touch. So then you can see if there's contact.
Okay. Do you nod your head or shake your head or anything like that?
Unless you're looking at me like, was that a good call? I'll say yes, it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Any kind of this stuff is great.
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Good. Pancake, if you see the ball down, step out. If I haven't seen you yet, step out again. And if I still haven't seen you, then blow your whistle and we'll deal with it when it comes. I'm not going to wave you off. I might wave off a line judge, but if you see it, come out and show it to me, big and proud. Same with the touch. If you see a touch and you don't think anybody else has it, then show it to me nice and big. I will take all the help that you have. 2 hits, 4 hits, lift. If you think that I've been blocked out, give it to me. I'll take it. I'll be looking for you, especially when there's a bang bang play over on your side of the net. And I don't know who it went off of. I'm going to look to you for some assistance. So if you can tell me it's off of them, or would you do this, or do you get to the fault side? How do you think that would work?
It might depend on the situation, but I would try to give you enough information within that situation.
Okay.
So if it might be where I'm giving you the out signal, but I may have to point, so I might slowly walk over there just to make sure you know that it was off of them.
Okay.
It just depends on how quick that play was.
So do you naturally get to the fault side at the end of each play, or
try.
kind of sometimes? Okay.
I tried.
Okay.
If not, I will try the next time.
Oh, that's good to know, because then I would know, okay, fault, Tina's on that side. I know that's the fault if I have a question, but that's fine. I can work with that. In regards to the bench and the scores table, that's your business, and I'm not going to get involved in your business. If you have an issue with the coach and you're conversing with the coach, I'm going to wait for you. When you've had enough of the coach and you're ready to play, give me the court back and I'm going to blow my whistle. No matter where you are, if you need to get out of it, just give me back the court and I'm going to blow my whistle. We're going to play. Good. I think that's all I have. What do you have for me? What do you need from me?
I will always make eye contact with you. So if I have issues or here, just wait for me. So just kind of look for me also if I have anything going on with the table. So just wait is mostly what I have. So sometimes I have partners that leave me.
Yep. I won't leave you.
Thank you.
If you need a card, what are you going to do?
I will ask you for one.
Good.
Just give me one.
Nice and loud.
I will.
You ask for it, I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
All right, welcome, ladies. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Alondra. My name is Tina, and I'm going to be your R1 for this match, and this is my partner.
Jason, I'll be your R2.
So, for the visiting team, playable areas is there's a yellow line all the way around. There's a yellow center and the yellow attack lines. You can play up into the bleachers, the walls, and up here into the tables. Make sure that all your players are properly and legally equipped. Are they? And do you guys know if there's a medical professional here on hand for a concussion specialist? Perfect. And where will you find them? Behind the bleachers?
On the bench?
On the bench? Good, on the bench. Perfect. As long as we know where we can find them. All right. So, and then up here, there's a little bit of a beam up here. So if the ball does come in contact with that and goes back onto your side, if you have a play, please play. If not, it will be considered out. And the best thing to do is always play into the whistle. Do you guys have any questions at this time? All right. If something does happen during the match, please come up and talk to me. I'd like to have your coaches direct all the questions to me.
With that, for substitutions, ladies, please be mindful and be patient. If both teams come up to the line for substitutions, please wait. I might put the brakes on one team while I put the substitutions on the court. Please, again, just wait for me to get you. Okay?
All right, final thing, always have fun. Always work hard and always do your best. All right? So, since you're on my visiting team, you get to call the coin. This is red, and this is blue. Call it in the air. What'd she say? Red. Red? It is red. Serve or receive? Serve. All right, you get to serve it. You get the first warm up. All right, anything else? All right, good luck, ladies. Good luck.
Once your captain's meeting is finished, you should approach coaches and ask for their line judges. Some leagues require the home team to provide both line judges. Most use one from each team.
All right, ladies, first and foremost, thank you for being part of my team today. As line judges, I want you to be full in the game, 110%. All right, being a line judge myself, I always have the eye contact with the line judges. That helps keep everybody in the game. Being a line judge, we have an acronym that we like to talk about. It's called SPLAT. The S is going to be the serve. So for the serve, you got to make sure that the server does not contact that line. Jump servers, make sure that they have last contact outside and they can land inside the court. Okay. The sideline, we'll keep an eye on that. That hash, that's an extension of the sideline. If they're out here, they're going to be out, but if they can, contact the line. Okay. The next one is going to be P for pancakes. So, as line judges, if you can, please get in position to see that pancake. If you see the full ball hit the court, please put that flag down as an in, and then come up. If play continues, please just try to get my attention. I might have to wait until I come back to you. Make sure you keep that signal, okay? L. L is for lines. As line judges, you make sure that you have the entire end line and the entire sideline on the other side of the net. So you have to be down. Make sure that you can try and anticipate. Make sure you see that end line. Make sure you see your side. Okay. A is for antennas. A is for antennas. So again, if you can get in position, if that ball it hits the antenna, hits anything outside the antenna, or crosses the net anywhere outside that antenna, all of that is going to be an antenna fault, including hitting the stand. If it hits the ref, please don't make any signal. Okay. T. T is for touches. The big one for the touches are those bam plays at the net. All right. If we have the attacking side hit the ball and it goes off of the blocking side fingers and goes out, one of you line judges may have an out, the other one might have a touch. So if that's going to be the case, please keep your signals up until I look at both of you, and we'll make the call from there. The other one I like to talk about is just sell me your call. If you have a call, is in, sell it, give it to me. If you hesitate and you're like, in, then I might not go with that. If we have any issues where we need to call one of the line judges over, call the whole team over. Okay, have any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Let's go.
Before the game, observe the team's warm-up to get a better feeling of the level of ball handling and become mentally ready to call the game. At this time, you may have to approach the home coach to obtain 2 game balls. Check the game balls for proper inflation. It is important to establish a rapport with the scorekeeper.
Hi, I'm Tina.
I'm Steve.
Steve, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you my scores?
I'm your scorekeeper.
Awesome. Tell me, have you done this before?
I have done it before, and I feel pretty good about it, but I'm not 100% sure about the Libro scoring.
Okay, well, that in case is our tracker. So I want you to just focus on the scoring right now, and then
Okay.
we can talk to our tracker later. So tell me, how do you do subs? Do you want me to yell them out at you? Do you want me to just have you do them? How do you usually track the subs?
I will listen to what you say, but I'm listening for the coach as well. If the coach is saying the numbers, but if the coach isn't saying numbers, I'm listening for you to say the numbers.
Okay, so when I blow my whistle for a sub, I'm going to say it. And then what I would like you to do is just either shake your head or something. Give
I'll
me
give
some
you a thumbs up.
acknowledgement.
Yep.
Yeah. That way we can make sure, in case it's a noisy crowd, that we both get it.
Okay.
So perfect. Now, what if there's an issue with maybe a sub or the score? What will you do for me so that I know that you need help?
As soon as I realize something's wrong in the sheet, I will tell the scoreboard operator to buzz.
Okay.
And if I haven't figured it out, then we'll let you know on the next dead ball.
Okay. Now, what if there's a wrong server? What will you do?
First, I'll be panicking a little bit, but then I'll, again, tell the scorekeeper or the clock operator to buzz for.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do, make sure that they serve first. If you see that it's the wrong person, don't tell coaches.
Right.
We gotta learn, let them learn, yeah, wait, let them in contact, and then, yeah, go ahead and hit the buzzer.
Okay.
And then that will let us know, and I'll turn around and I'll say, what's going on? And you'll say, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but then I'll need to know who the correct server was, so I can make sure that I get them on the right spots, so we don't mess up again.
Okay.
So that'll be a good thing. The same thing when a coach asks for a lineup check, I'm gonna come up to you and say, who's my next server? So just point to me who the next server is, and then I'll be able to go out and help fix that on that case. Anything else that might come up, please don't hesitate. We'll talk about it maybe during a timeout or during in between sets if something comes up for that kind of thing. Let me know when it is about to the game point. I may turn around, and if I forget to turn around, just say, hey Tina, game point. That way I can let my partner know that we are for sure at game point. If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to ask me about anything. Any questions right now that you have?
How many timeouts per set?
We have 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so just record them down here on the bottom, and you always make the team that calls a timeout first, write their score first, and then the other score. Now, with libero, if the libero is going to go in and serve, all I want you to do is put a triangle around the position, not the actual player, so around the position. So when they're in, then you're going to check with the tracker and say, are they in for this person? That way you guys can make sure that she's in for the right position. When she serves, put a triangle in the spots for every serve that she makes.
So the Roman numeral, the serving order position, not the player's number.
Correct.
Okay.
And then for everyone that she does, put a triangle there, and then whatever point she gets. If they do happen to switch and her player goes back in, then you'll switch to the circles because the libero is no longer serving.
Okay.
So
That's
mostly what you'll have to worry about with the libero. The tracker will keep track more of the subs and her going in and out.
And I saw that on the video, but that was a little bit unsure.
No problem. So last thing I'm going to ask you is I really need your focusing, so try not to check your phone too often. Or you
I
can
won't
put it
check
away.
during the
Okay.
Not during set stuff.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Steve. We'll have fun.
You too.
To begin the game, blow your whistle and direct the players to the end line. It may be necessary to walk over to their huddle and say, "Let's go, coach, it's time to play." Encourage a prompt response to your whistle. After they are lined up on the end line, blow the whistle again and direct them onto the court. Use the coach's lineup sheet to check to be sure the players are in their correct position. If players are out of order, patiently direct them to their proper place and be willing to explain the problem to the coach if necessary. When a coach calls for a timeout, blow your whistle to acknowledge the timeout and clearly direct the players using the correct hand signal toward their team bench. Remember to keep your whistle tone for timeouts and substitutions distinct from your whistle to begin and end play. On the first time out taken, if your scorekeeper seems unsure, it's advisable to hurry across and confirm the time out procedure with her. Before starting the game again, signal the number of timeouts taken by each team. When a coach requests a substitution, blow your whistle to acknowledge the sub and give the appropriate hand signal. Hold the players there with a visual signal to be sure the scorekeeper has the necessary information. Then signal that the substitute may enter. When it is necessary to confer with the captains during the game, be certain to give them ample time to let their coaches know what was discussed. If you have briefed the coaches of the timeout and substitution procedures before the game, you will find out that these procedures can be run smoothly. Ask the coach to vocalize the request as well as standing and signaling. For a substitution, ask them to assist their players to move to the proper spot in front of the 10-foot line. Communicate their numbers to the scorekeeper and instruct the players to wait for the official's signal before entering. Remember to scan the benches before starting play. At the conclusion of the game, signal and direct the players to the end line. Get off the stand, cross the court quickly to verify game point. Then signal end of game with arms crossing your chest and release the players to the sidelines. Immediately, get lineup sheets to the coaches and remind teams to change sides. At the conclusion of the match, you will use the same procedure used at the end of each game, except you will direct players to shake hands at center court. Before leaving the gym, be sure to thank your line judges and scorekeeper. Remember, many junior players and coaches are relatively new to the game of volleyball and are just learning the rules. Be sure that as an official, you have left them with a positive experience.
Okay. Now, you guys, do you see Steve on the screen now? I stopped sharing. Okay. Yeah, the video is on our website too. It's on the apprentices page. So, I gotta figure this out. Tina.
Yeah, are there any questions for some of the things you saw in the video or with the captain's meeting? We'll go in a little bit more with the captain's meeting, but questions you guys might have? No questions? So there is one thing that when you saw Robin and I doing the partner briefing in the beginning where we talk about how we're going to do a game, we were talking more on a college level. So the one thing that as an R2, if you are needing your partner to administer a card, you actually show the card by your chest. In high school, where college, we just ask for it. So those two procedures are a little bit different, college versus high school. So that was just a little bit of a difference. And another little difference is sometimes in a middle school match, or even if you're doing a C team or a JV team when you're by yourself, if you communicate with your scorer saying, okay, this is the last point, this is the last point, you can actually just do the end of game on the stand instead of always walking across. If you have a question before you're thinking, wait a minute, I looked at the score and it said 23 and now it's 25 and you completely missed that 24 point, then at that point, you're not declaring anyone who, end of the game. You just want to go over and double check. You can do that too. So as a R1 doing everything, you really do have to pick up R2's responsibilities and the R1's responsibilities when you are by yourself. Checking the score, communicating with the score table, talking with the lines people, checking the net, checking the ball pressures. All of that really is, you're doing everything. The one thing too to keep in mind that if you're the only one in that gym, that scorekeeper is your best friend. And you want to make sure that you guys have great communication so that they can help you get through that match if it's just you. So Steve, Robin, anything else you guys can think of? Now, Steve, you're a coach in a middle school. What are some of the things that you can say as a coach when you work with a single ref? What are some maybe pointers we could give them?
my point of view as a coach, I know that school has just ended and I'm usually not ready. And that is often the case with that 3:30 match. School's ended only a short amount of time ago, and teams are in the gym at 3 o'clock and they're ready to get warmed up. And as a coach, I'm not ready. So be patient with those coaches. If you need to, if the coach needs to make changes to whatever's going on in their gym, let them know what the thing is, and then be patient. If you start a few minutes late, you start a few minutes late. If you start on time, great. But try to go in there with the attitude of, I am helping them. Many of them are still learning. The scorekeeper in most middle school matches will not have any clue, because it's very often a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade girl. Some places, a few places, you'll get a staff member who knows what they're doing, but those are far and few between. So, or few and far between, whichever it is. So please go in with the attitude of, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna give grace. We're gonna be patient. And we're just gonna make sure that the match happens and that the correct team wins. If scorekeeping doesn't work right, at least we have the big numbers up on the board, and we want to make sure that those are okay. What else? If the net is a little bit off for a middle school match and they don't have an easy ability to fix it, don't panic. It's okay. It's okay. As long as you let both teams know, or you say, Coach, is there any way you can fix it? If they can't do anything about it, then they may not be able to do anything about it. It's very possible they can't raise that one side of the net up that extra 1/4 inch that you want. Let it go. Let it go. You said something, Tina, and I totally forgot earlier on. I wrote some things down, but I didn't write down the one that was most recent. So sorry.
Okay.
That's what I got right now.
Those are valuable points, that when you walk into a gym, we're not there for you. You are there for the players. I mean, you're not even there for the coaches. You're just everybody there is to help assist this game so that these players can play. They've worked, they've practiced, they've sweat, they've, who knows, skin burns, whatever. They've got it all. It's all for them. So let's try to make whatever happens in the background with the net, the score, all of that, let's try to deal with that very professionally and calmly. So that way the players, it doesn't affect them. I'm sure many of you have coached and you have watched your players because an official maybe did something and what they did affected your players. Let's not be those people. Let's be the ones that go in and just get things done. Positive attitude, no matter what went on in that day. Let's just go in and try to do what we can for those players. Like Steve said, those younger ones, they are impressionable. We are like their teachers on a different level. We are, an example to them of what they, look up to. We all know that those kids are going to be scared of us. So let's try to make it so they're not scared of us. Let's help them. If they've messed up, you're like, you know what, that's okay. We can fix this. Talk to them positively. It'll be much better. The night will be much better. They'll be happy. My main goal is when I walk into a gym, I walk in and I want to leave and I don't want anyone to remember who I was. That's my goal. May not happen, but that's my goal. I just want to go in, call a game, and go home. So anyway, anything else about, what's that?
I think a phrase that sums up officiating junior high volleyball is, we're not going in there to catch them doing wrong. We're going in to teach them to do right. So it's not all about the, gotcha, you're out of position. It's like, hey, you need to move over to the right of number 7. That's where preventative officiating comes in. We do a lot of that in junior high volleyball. It's a great place to learn the rules and to learn how to keep score, because you repeat those things over and over and over again. And so it's a really good place to either get started or to hone your skills for those of us that have been involved in volleyball for quite some time, to get us to remember them a little bit quicker.
One of our previous meetings, Tina said something along the lines of, when do you blow the whistle for 5 seconds on a serve? That little girl that's back there, and she is struggling to get herself coordinated so that she can remember to take a small step, give a small toss, hit the ball, and she bounced it 4 times beforehand. Give her 7 seconds, give her 8 seconds on the first one. If it's every single time, call the captains over and say, hey, we want to speed this up a little bit. But those first times, you don't have to be the drill sergeant who says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tweet. That's not teaching anybody anything other than you were mean to a little 6th grade, 7th grade girl. So patience and grace.
Right, any other questions about kind of the single man going in? Anything about that? No, all right. So
Not a
where-
question, not a question, but
Yes.
remember our primary thing that we want to take care of is safety in the gym too. That make sure that if there's something that's not right, that's got to be taken care of before play starts so that no one ends up hurt. You don't want that on your conscience. You don't want that on your watch. If you notice something that you missed and oops, you stepped up on the stand, the ball cart didn't get pushed back out of the way where you wanted it to be, take a moment. I mean, you got line judges that you can call over and ask them for help too. You can talk to the captain and say, hey, captain, go tell your coach, move that ball cart out of the way. Safety, 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 and safety. First thing, most definitely, make sure of that.
Right. So that's going to lead into when we're going to talk a little bit about what to talk about in a captain's meeting when you meet with the captains and their coaches. So as official, either by yourself or with a partner, anytime you walk into a gym, your first thing is you are looking for safety. Like Steve said, that's the first thing. If you look in, you see, like you said, the wrestling match, or some schools may have a closet and they pull out their stereo system, and then during the game, they actually put it back in and shut the door. Those things, that could be a safety issue. You need to ask, what's going to happen with this? What are we doing? Just all those things. So you're immediately in mode to look for that safety. Then you come in, you're starting to observe the players, you're looking for jewelry, you're looking for, whatever thing could happen with the net, all of that. You put your stuff down, typically by the score table, and then you some of us, like I said, we don't wear our shoes outside, so we'll sit down, put our shoes on, maybe get our gear on, whatever. And then we start checking the net. Then we start checking the ball pressure. And then we talk to coaches if we need to. And then you're preparing yourself on that captain's meeting. So once every school, hopefully we're going to be all on the same page, but some middle schools are not there. High schools are all on the same page. But there's a certain time where you have to blow your whistle for the captain's meeting. So you'll blow your whistle, you'll hold your coin up, and the captains will come running. But you can't start that meeting unless the coaches are there also. They have to be there. The most important reason is that if you say something to a coach that's there and a coach that isn't, and that comes up, the coach is like, well, you never told me, because they weren't in the captain's meeting. So if their coaches are not there, you look at the captains and you say, go get your coach. And they're like, oh, coach. So then they come over, right? So that's important. Once they're both there, then there's kind of this checklist, and I think Mark emailed it out to you guys. So there's kind of a checklist you go through. You want to hit the fine points. How you do that is up to you, but you always want to start with introductions. You introduce yourself. If you have a partner, you let them introduce themselves, and then you have the players and coaches introduce themselves. So starting with the introductions is first, and then you can go over playable areas with safety involved. So keep that in mind. So when you do the playable areas, you point out the color of the markings on the floor. Some schools, they may have kind of a yellowish, orangey wood floor, and then their line is actually yellow. So you really have to go over the lines in some schools. And then if you do have a school like for 6th graders, they have the rule where they can step in. they should have that marked. So then you have to make sure you bring up that line for serving. So you talk about that. You talk about how far they can go for the walls or the safety, areas. Some schools that have a change of surface. So you have to talk about the change of surface on the floor. Then you have to talk about, the chairs, the bleachers, or whatever the case may be. If there is a cord hanging down from the ceiling, what's the ruling going to be on that? And if you are not sure, that is a great time to ask the home coach, how do you guys usually play that? Or sometimes we've had some schools that have had a balloon hanging down, a helium balloon that's deflated and it's stuck in the rafters. So if you ask the home coach, how do you usually play that? Then the home coach will just say, well, the other official did this. Now we as officials are going to be consistent. And then the other coach heard how we get to play that potential hazard or obstacle that could be come into play. So that's why you want coaches, everyone there talking about that. So you go into safety, make sure you talk to the captain, say all your players should have all their jewelry out. That goes into the safety. So playable area, safety, anything else that you saw as you walked in that could be safety, bring it up at that meeting. If there is any other rule thingies that you want to go over, sometimes we do that at the beginning of the season. So for instance, last year when the coaches had to have their rosters in at the meeting, we always had to write, coach, we need your roster, or things like that. It's just, if there's something new that we have to remind people, that's when you do that also. Hopefully by the middle of the season, they are familiar with that rule, whatever it might be. After that, if you feel there's anything else you want to talk about, if you are by yourself, this is a great time to mention, coach, if you call it a sub, please make sure that they stay on the line. I'm going to let them in as soon as my scorer gets them in. If you call a timeout, coach, make sure I can see you, because you're scanning everything, but you want to make sure that the coach or that coaches, you can see the coaches and they can see you when they ask for things. If you do have a partner, that's a good time to then turn it over to your partner and say, do you have anything to add? That's when they may bring up the subs or maybe one of the duties that they feel that they want to do. Or talk about. And what that it does is it's so important to understand that when you involve your partner, if you have one, because you let them introduce themselves and now you're going to give them time to talk, it makes you a good front, a good team yourselves. You trust your partner, you're going to let them talk. We're all going to have, a good conversation. So that's important to turn it over to them. After you've covered everything you feel that you need to for that gym, then you're going to do the coin flip. And that would be that the home team, so at the beginning of the match, the home team has picked their side. So the visiting team gets to call the coin. Typically what I do is I would just show everyone my coin. My coin is red and blue. So I would say red or blue, call it in the air. Very important that they call it in the air. Then you take it. Now, in some cases, some people like to use their thumb. You could probably not see here on this thing. I don't have a coin available. Oh, wait, I do. Here's a coin. Okay, so you have your coin, and what some people do is they'll take it with their thumb and then flip it with their thumb. What I do, because my thumbs never work that way, and I always mess up my coin flip, is I actually hold it like this. And then when I hold it, I just flip it with it just being held like that. Can you guys see, hopefully? So if you can't use your thumb to do a flip, then I try just holding it and then flipping it. And I just go and I flip it backwards. So it goes straight up. I've controlled it because you want to make sure that you've practiced your coin flip. So that way you still, you got good credibility, you look professional. When it comes down, when you're waiting for that coin to come down, you just catch it. That's it. You don't flip it over onto our arms. We don't do that. We just catch it, and where it is what it is. So if they call it in the air, then what we do is then we get to show them. Now what I do, this is just me, is I show the team that didn't call it. So it would be the home team. I show them because they called, say, blue. then I show home team what it is. And then I show the visiting team. So that way we all know what that coin was. That's just me. Everybody has a different way of doing that and how the coin goes. Now, here's what I do. And this is, like I said, these are all different techniques you're going to learn. So if the home or if the visiting team calls blue, and it is blue, and they are on my, which is my right side, which is probably backwards for you guys. I don't know. Anyways, this side. So if they're on my right side, and I am the R1, because I'm leading the coin, I tell myself when I'm up on the stand, they are then going to be on my left side on the stand. So I'm going to put my coin in my left pocket. That helps me remember who has serve. So if the scorekeeper or somebody forgets to mark it on the sheet, I will remember who has that coin flip. So I take whoever wins the coin flip and what side they'll be where I'm standing on the stand, I put it in that pocket. So I can always remember, because it's always going to be that side now, even when they switch sides, which they're probably not going to do this year. I'll have to switch my coin, because they'll just stay on the side. But I will be able to then fill my pocket. Oh, there's my coin. I know which side has the service. So that is something that I like to do. For that. Then if there's no questions, nothing is done, then you say, have a great game. And then after you send them off, you'll start your warm-ups for the home team and then visiting team, and then we get going for a match. So any questions, or Robin and Steve, did I forget anything?